Sorry, let me share my screen. I'm coming. Please, can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's started sharing.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you this morning. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today, we are going to be talking about time management as developers. I would like to say I'm happy to see everyone this morning. And we want to learn how we can effectively manage our time as software developers. Not just software developers, literally everyone here will benefit from today's presentation. So we are going to cover a lot of topics today, like we'll check research perspective, then there will be audience activity, some reflection, things for you to think about. Then we'll get to know the exact meaning of time management and how we can effectively manage time as software developers or any department you are currently working on. Then we'll learn the time management matrix and the practical application. We'll also do conclusion and question. So let's begin with the start, which is what is time management and why is it important? Many research work has shown that time management and personal organization, they go hand in hand, which means both of them are complementary, they are together. So the question is, what is personal organization and what is time management? As software engineers, which one do you think is more important? Is it for you to be organized or to manage your time effectively or to do both of them? Or is it possible for you to be organized and not being able to manage your time? Or in other words, do you think it is more important to be a good time manager? Can you hear me?
Actually, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you, but it's as if the screen you're sharing is a different one. You're sharing some links like that. Is that your slide?
Yes, this is my slide.
The link.
The link on the screen. Link.
You're sharing, yeah, link.
Where is the link, please?
You don't you get like the screen you are showing us is link. How should I put it? Zoom link, Google.99, GC link.
Okay, this is.
It's just that like it's just maybe it's just like error. You should like, yes, it's just error.
Is there something I can do?
Yeah, it's something you can do. I show your slides instead. Share your slides, not probably you are sharing your own screen.
Yes, maybe she's sharing the wrong screen.
Sorry, I don't know if I can stop doing this, or should I reload the slide or something like that?
No, okay,
no, just stop sharing and reshare.
Okay.
And select the right.
That's what I said also. You should stop sharing and then you should.
I should
reshare.
Okay, share screen. Okay. Please, can you see it now?
Better, yes, that's it.
It's better.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, I was talking about the research perspective when it comes to time management. Okay, I said it is possible. Is it possible? I was asking if it is possible for you to be a good time manager and as well be organized. Well, in my own opinion, I feel both of them look like bread and butter. Yes, you have to be a good time manager as well as being organized. Both of them need to be together. Yes, one leads to the other, of course. So what is time management and why is it important? Every one of us here have the same time. Yeah, we all have 24 hours in a day. But we realize that some people are able to spend their 24 hours doing something that matters. But for some of us, it is impossible. I would love to engage everyone first. I want you to pause and reflect. What do you think makes time management difficult for you? What do you think makes time management difficult for you? Is it that you are not being able to prioritize? Or do you find yourself procrastinating? Or I want to do this and then you find yourself not doing it. You said you will do this, you are not able to do it. So why is time management so difficult? And why is it such an important topic for us to be talking about right now? So according to the research, like I said, there is no such things as time management. There is no such thing like time management, but we have what we call self-management. Yes, self-management. It is impossible for you to mismanage yourself and be a great time manager. Yes, every good time manager knows that you have to start from self-management. Yes, another point is this. When you think about money, you think about a house, anything else, it is possible to always recover if you lost those things. But we often say that time lost cannot be recovered. You might have something important going on. Maybe you're working on a project your team lead gives to you. And while trying to fix a bug, maybe suddenly you get a phone call. Very important phone call from someone you know. He wants to tell you something very important, something online. And then you drop everything just to listen to that person, to listen to the story. Then by the time you go back to your work, you realize that, oh my gosh, I've lost like 1 hour. So it is very true that time management is the least renewable energy, which when lost, it cannot be recovered. It is quickly given out and very fast and easily. So what is time management? Time management is the process of planning and exercising conscious control of time spent on activity. The process of planning and exercising conscious control of time spent on activity. When we talk about conscious control or consciousness, yes, it means being aware. It means being present. So conscious control of time spent on specific activities. Let me give you an example. The person who has a job and someone who does not have a job. I believe both of you have 24 hours in a day, isn't it? While Mr. Emmanuel is spending time getting some work done, the other person spends time doing something as well. But if you want to take an audit, you ask that person. The person without a job might not even remember what he or she spent their time doing. So that is what we mean by conscious control. It means being aware of specific activities that you use your time to do. Yes, it means being aware of those activities so as to increase your effectiveness, your efficiency, as well as trying to be productive. Yes, let me take it again. Time management is a process of planning and exercising conscious control of time spent on specific activity, especially when you want to increase effectiveness and productivity. Now the question is, why time management? Yes, why is time management important? As outlined in this my slide, you can see it helps you to reduce stress. Yes, it makes you create value. It's very important for personal effectiveness. Yes, it's help you increase your work output, and also you have more control over your responsibility, your job. Now let's take it one by one. I talk about, okay, let me start with this one that I said, to increase, okay, to bring value. I want to ponder on that. In what way does time management brings value? Okay, the example that should come to our mind when we talk about value is how investment grow. If you are into any form of investment, you should know that time is very important. For example, now, if you started some time ago to save money in a bank, maybe when you are in secondary school, you place like 3,000 naira as fixed deposit. Yes. By the time you are in secondary school down to this time, you will notice that the money will grow because of the accumulated interest, the compound interest that grows over time. So as time passes, the value of the money increase, and what happens? You have a lot of profit and you can become rich by this time. Maybe it's 10 years ago. So that is time. You manage that time very effectively to keep something. Yes, you saved something and it grows. So if any of us can manage our time effectively, we can always get value from it. Another good example about that value is if you started learning something like, let's say, programming, like in my case, for some 3 years ago. When I say 3 years in my case, I don't mean like so perfect in it. I mean, even the little algorithm I do, like maybe how to sort, how to do this, all together, I can say 3 years. So when I think about it right now, I began to realize that the best time to have started is 3 years ago, not now. But in case you want to start now, you can start. Now think about something else. Could you also think about something else that might have been growing if you had started earlier before now? Okay, like in my case, I said programming. Most of you might also have something else. So there are a lot of them, but just that most of us squandered that time we're supposed to have used effectively. And right now we wish we said, I know, we regret. So how can you as an individual manage your time effectively? Yeah, you can do that by setting goals and objective. You can also do that by avoiding procrastination. They said it's the killer of time. Yes. And also time management requires an habit. We are going to talk more about this habit, what I mean by habit. We also achieve time management by setting deadlines. You have a task, you have series of tasks, then you decide to allocate deadlines. And before this time, I want to complete this thing. It can help you manage your time very effectively. Another way you can manage your time is when you talk to your team leader. Yes, you can go to your team leader and request for an audit. Sir, how do I manage my time? Do you see me as a good time manager? Maybe the project I've worked on, how can you rate my time? Hey, your team leader can tell you as well. And when you also delegate responsibility, we'll talk about this in details actually. When you prioritize activities as per their importance, which means the one that is more important, you have a list of things to do. You say, this is very important. I start with this first before you move to the next. You learn to prioritize. Before you realize you're able to effectively manage your time. Okay, let's say you have 10 activities, and out of that 10 activities, there are some that have short deadlines. Yes, you have to do some can't just wait. So you put priority to those that cannot wait. Then before you realize, you are able to complete meeting all deadlines. Also, you also manage your time very well when you spend the right time on the right activity. Yes, when you spend the right time on the right activity, like for example, social media, it's important to be on social media, but then it is not something that you cannot do without. So other things that cannot wait, you can start with that before you move to those that's maybe just for pleasure. So that is how you can manage your time. Now, I made mention of building an habit. Okay, now building an habit is a good time management manager as well. You have to start with building the habit of managing your time. You need to see it as a process. If you want to be an effective time manager, you need to be a process. So for example, now, recently on my own case, I have decided that I wanted to master a framework on PHP, which is Yi2 framework. And what I did is this: I created a series of habits. Then I wrote down that every morning, this is what I will do. Every 30 minutes in the morning, I should do this. Now, I continue to do this. I began to commit myself to it every day. And right now, I'm happy with the result I'm seeing. So this is also what I'm going to do when I get to work. This is what I'm going to do. So you should also learn to reward yourself. When you said you want to manage your time and you are able to create an habit, then you achieve the habits. Maybe, for example, you're able to be consistent in 2 weeks. After 2 weeks being consistent in a particular habit, you want to learn something and you say 30 minutes each day, then you happen to be consistent in that thing. You should award yourself. You could take something like even soft drink, yes, to congratulate yourself. It's very good, very effective. So making it an habit, something you do repeatedly for 2 weeks, before you realize it's going to go deep down into your subconsciousness. So time management is very, very important. It's something that you cannot just jump into it. It is a continuous process. It's something that you continually build repeatedly with good habits. And then you need to do this consistently for 2 weeks. That 2 weeks will help you to master it. For example, you'll be able to be aware, but you don't need to be told. Your alarm will need to remind you. It's now into your consciousness. Now, time management also requires the ability for you to plan and to be aware of what are the specific things you need to get done each day. Yes, you need to plan effectively. So let's say you have 24 hours there in a day. What are those specific things that I need to get done for me to be successful in my job, in my personal life, and so on? And then when you make those plans, what you need to do next is for you to be very clear about it. Be very specific about those things you want to do. Many times when we take on some activities that are not so specific, it means that we are not exercising conscious control of our time and those activities. Yes. Now I'm going to talk about something else very important, which is management audit. What does it mean to audit yourself? What I mean by that is for you to be able to document how you use your time. Then you will know where to make improvement. If there is one thing that you also take very important from this my presentation is about auditing your time. Okay, in the morning you did this, in the afternoon you did this. You jot it down, you audit. Then at the end of the day, you're able to see how you're able to effectively use your time throughout the day in 24 hours to see if there's room for improvement. Okay, for many of us, we just get up in the morning and what we do, we go. Then when we come back home, we are so tired from work and then we sleep off. We don't take proactive way to manage our time by outlining those specific things which we did that particular day. If you're able to try it, trust me, you will be able to see that there is room for improvement. So what you need to do is this. If you can't do it alone, you can go to your team lead who has given you some tasks to do. You request that, okay, sir, I have been able to achieve this, but how is my time management? Is it effective? Do you feel I need room for improvement? So he will be able to give you the right answer to that question. I also want you to be honest with yourself. Yes, when you want to audit your time, you don't want to keep assuming that, well, this time it will take me just maybe 30 minutes. You keep assuming. You not take the proactive, the proactive step to document it. When you achieve that task, you need to document it so you'll be able to audit your time. It's very, very important. Like I said, you ask someone to help you to check how effective you are when managing your time. And also, what is one reason why many people we see today say that they cannot manage their time? Or why do you feel that you are not self-managing yourself? Okay, many people talk about procrastination. Procrastination is very, very bad. Like, it can cost you a lot of time. It can make you squander your time on things that you are supposed to have done. You want to do something today, you said, maybe later I will do this. And that time comes, you still push it forward. So we should learn to stop how to procrastinate. Now, how can you do that? It's for you to ensure that whatever you plan to do, you ensure that you deliver. When the time is up, you get up. You can even slap yourself that, let me get to work. Yes, we need to avoid procrastination. It kills time. It kills time. If you learn to manage your time effectively, you will realize that you stop most of procrastination you always do. And these are the things I want to achieve. You need to be specific about it, okay? Now remember, this year you made a resolution, a lot of us. Some might say that this year I want to be very good at mobile development. I want to work on this project. I want to do this. Before you realize, you said, okay, I'm supposed to start my work today. Let me do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and, oh, I'm feeling tired. Let me do it next tomorrow. You keep pushing. That is very, very bad. It's not good. Procrastination can kill one's time. That is why we are going to talk about time management matrix. This matrix is a very, very important steps to managing your time. It is proven. Yes, it is proven. Everyone who follows this matrix will be successful. The matrix is into 4 segments. Now, these 4 segments, we have one that is important, which is, like I say, the one in the first segment, urgent and important. We have the other one in the second segment, not urgent, yet important. The third segment said urgent, yet not important. The other one said not important and not urgent. Now, let's talk about each of these matrices and how we can use this matrix to help us manage our time effectively. Each task you want to do in a day fits into any of these segments in this matrix. Now, how will you know which one belongs to this particular segment? The point is that there are some tasks that are not just too urgent, but they are important, okay? Those kind of tasks, we call them that they are in the second segment of the matrix, which is the second one that said not urgent yet important. And those ones that are very deadline conscious, like those ones that you have to submit today, you have to do this, your team lead needs the result today. Those ones are urgent and important. They are in the first segment. Now, how will you deal with those ones? You must do it. You need to do all tasks that are urgent and important. You start with those tasks because you need to meet those deadlines. If you don't do that, you might get a demerit from your province. Or maybe if you don't do that, you might even lose your job. So those ones are very important. Now, example of such is a class study and related assignments. You need to submit this your antifact before tomorrow, or you need to learn how to communicate very well. If not, you lose your job. Things like that are very urgent if it has a fixed date for it, a deadline. That's what I mean. Okay. Now, those tasks are something that they are fire brigade. You have to do it immediately. So when you start in a day, you need to know those tasks that are so urgent that has fixed deadline that you cannot exceed. You start with those ones. Now we have some tasks, like I said, that are not urgent but important. That is the second segment, which is, example is career skill development. The truth is that if you want to be a very effective time manager, you need to spend most of your time doing things within this second segment. You will grow. This second segment will make you to be to be successful. In fact, good team leaders should spend most of their time on this second segment. Now, for example, now you want to learn a skill. Yes, it is not urgent yet, but you know, in 5 years' time, you want to be a hot cake. So you need to start from now. You allocate time and you learn those skills. Yes, those things are not important yet, but they are very, very urgent. How about urgent yet not important? A good example is social media. Okay, that is not social media. The urgent, not important. A good example is, for example, now you subscribe to an email. You are a kind of person that loves football. Then you receive the latest news about football that there's a transfer going on. Then you know it's something that you enjoy doing. You have to click to see the latest news, latest transfer. It is urgent because if you don't do that now, you might miss the opportunity. You might be backdated, like some people do say, but it is not important. So how will you do with such tasks? You need to schedule it for another time. It's not something you must do at that moment. The last one says not important and not urgent. A good example of this one is not important, not urgent is social media. Except you are a content provider, things like that, it might be important. But if, for example, now you want to reply to messages on Facebook, yes, you have a WhatsApp call, you want to deliver, things like that, it is not important and it's not urgent. So tasks like this, you can just cancel. Yes, in a day when you have like 10 tasks, you try to divide these tasks into each of these segments to see which one is very most likely for you to do first. Like I said, those that are very urgent and important are those ones that have fixed deadline. Yes, you have to submit your report before 9 o'clock. Before 9 o'clock. That is very, very important. That is the task. It is urgent, it's important. You do that first. So the ones that are not urgent yet important, those ones are the ones that will make you successful in life. Yes, you want to be a footballer in 10 years' time, you start practicing today. So tasks like that, you can just find a small time and allocate to it. You do personal development. It is very important. Now, this urgent yet not important, those ones that they are urgent, okay, you have a discount, Jumia discount, you need to click and buy this thing before you know the price will change. It is urgent, but not important. So you can delegate it for something else. It will always come. Those ones that are not important, you cancel. So when you try to allocate your tasks into these segments and you realize that there are a lot of it that are urgent, not important, while there are some that are not important, not urgent, you can start with those that are urgent and important. And then before you switch to those that are not urgent, yet important. I would like to say that if you want to be very, very good software engineers, you want to be a good team leader, you want to be effective in whatever thing you are doing, you need to spend your time on the second segment, because there's no way you tell me that a task is urgent and important, that it is fire brigade, you have to do this, because there's some time, there's some interval of time where you have to work on those things. Maybe you ignore those tasks and you allow it to get to a time, maybe you know you are going to submit your task 9 o'clock, then you refuse to do that. You allow it to go down to maybe 8:30 before you realize that you have to remember most of those things you do and give a report. So most of the time, you don't need other segments. You need to always lie within this, not urgent yet important. So that is it about the time management matrix. I would love to know if anyone else have any question. If there is any question.
Does anybody have a question? You guys are still thinking about it. Can you hear me Monday?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, you did well. Thank you. Thank you for that powerful presentation.
Thank you too.
I'm sure everyone here is blessed by it. I'm sure everyone has developed something. Everyone has learned something. Adebenga, welcome. Adebenga, is he there? All right. You can ask your questions now.
Okay, I can ask anyone question.
Yeah, check the personalities and
Okay.
there should be question because this thing is powerful. Question.
Okay. Well, my question, who is laughing? Someone just laughed. Okay, my question actually I would love to ask is, how can you use the time management matrix to be effective when delivering tasks here at Income? I think anyone can answer that question. It's a random question, please.
They won't talk. Just go to the pipeline and point out somebody.
Okay. Does anyone want to answer, or should I pick anyone?
Pick someone.
Okay. Okay. Faith, please, can you help us with that?
That one is popular. Don't pick Faith.
Let's start with Faith first.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, how I could use time matrix to deliver my tasks at Pincom. As you rightly said earlier on, like as you rightly preached on, someone said earlier on, that yes, it's necessary I pay attention to the important things that needs to be taken care of every day. That's each day I come, and there is a task at hand. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm hitting the nail on the head. I am taking the bull by the horn. I'm doing the necessary. I'm not procrastinating. I'm delivering on my tasks as soon as possible and wherever necessary. Yeah. Then I'm also looking for other ways, to ensure that my task is being done on time. Maybe by talking to someone that knows more about it and just doing the needful, basically. Just doing the needful.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your answer. We enjoyed you. And there are more. Like I made mention about.
Wait.
Okay.
Let somebody else answer also.
Okay. Please, can someone else?
We have Victor, Samuel, Peter, Obafemi, Michael, Leonard, Jacob, Shay. Then the grand final. Conference.
Okay. Let me see. Victor, can you please any additional comment to what Faith said about using the time management matrix when delivering your tasks here at Bincom?
Victor is not active.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not active. He's there, but he's not active. Absent.
Okay.
Yeah, he's talking now.
Okay, so basically he has said it all. So the addition to what I've been doing so far is like in a week, since they said that when we feel what we feel weekly, there's this list that we feel that what we want to do this week. You understand? So I arranged it like, okay, this deadline, this has a deadline, like, okay, in the next 2 or 3 days or 1 week, this is going to be, the deadline is going to be due. So I have to pick that one first. I have to choose, I have to have a schedule for everything. Like, okay, from this time to this time, I should have finished. I should be done with this project. From this time to this time, I should be done with this project and stuff like that. That has really helped me a lot. And some things that I said that, okay, in the next 1 week, I should be able to learn this. So maybe 2 hours per day, I dedicate to that I'm trying to learn. So that has really helped me. How about you?
Yes.
Yeah, you need to answer.
Okay, please.
So
Samuel.
Actually, there's always a lot to do. There's always a lot to do that if you don't, you have to place priorities on
Yeah.
each things you have per day. Place priorities on them. And you have to learn how to say, this one is more important, this one is important than this one. So you get what I'm saying? So
Yes.
if you are to do, if I'm to do equipment process alone today, I will do that. I'm doing this, I'm facing this. If I'm to update my active team list today, I'm doing that. Recently, I just got the idea for Comfort. Before I will have to touch everything. Then later I'll say, where's the result? That kind of thing. So you just have to say, okay, I'm doing this. No other thing today. I'm doing this alone. What you know, if you gather everything together in a week, you see you've gone far. So that's how I do my things.
Thank you very much for your answer. I believe most every one of us benefit from today's presentation, how we can improve. The essence of the presentation is for every one of us to see ways we can improve on managing our time. Because definitely we have lots of tasks. Yeah. So just there are some things that we have as our own personal tasks. And those one we can shift those one to the second segment, which is not urgent but important. That one can be something you can do within maybe 30 minutes regular. But like I said earlier on, that most of the time you have to spend spend most of your time on the second segment. Like there's nothing you can say is always like so like no deadline is always so fast that you don't have some moments for you to rest. Just that even I am also having that problem. We do wait until we have 30 minutes to submission or something like that before we do so. No, what we need to do is this: we need to try to manage the allocated time we have, do things earlier before the time. So doing that will not make you feel like, wow, I want to die now if I don't submit this. So that is the point. That is the point. So I feel that is from my end. I don't really have much to say except you want to ask question.
Yeah,
okay.
Do you want to say something?
Is Michael saying something?
Peter.
Sir? Hello?
Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, Mary.
No, you already, actually, when you said you wanted to say something, I was thinking about how to share the timing, and you just made mention about it, like it, especially in Bincom, the organization is cool. I think they've organized everything that you can actually share your time by prioritizing some of the tasks that's ahead. I like from Bincom, I realized that I like to work late hour. If you notice that, I like, no matter what, I can take a task today and still want to finish it. But if you give me a task and say, okay, finish it next 1 month, I might just relax about it and feel I have time. But as long as you give me a task and I say, okay, go ahead and do this task right now. Now, I want it now. I know that, okay, this is now, so I'm going to do it. But I haven't come to Bincom. I've seen that, okay, like my plan and my schedule is, I know that every day I have to log in, check in as early as 8. I need to do that. That's my time already. I've programmed myself for that, and I'm going to do my daily report within that time. It's already something I have scheduled. It's important and it's urgent that you choose your attendance and then you come on time. So it's very important and it's urgent. So that comes first. Then what next? What are the other activities of the day? You get it there. It's already enlisted at this time to this time. You've been given the time frame. All you just need to do is check which one is important, which one is urgent. How do you allocate them? So I believe using time management here is just allocating the things that are on ground to the times that the slots that are available. That's how I can put it. That are available slots. We know that from 9:45 we have stand-ups. It's important, it's urgent, but it's not as urgent as checking by 8 o'clock in the morning. Neither is it as important as submitting your daily report before the 8 o'clock class and the stand-up. So you can see that if you have 2 hours to do whatever you want to do, what are you going to use the first 2 hours to do before this 8 o'clock class or the 9:45 stand-up? you have maybe from 7 to that time. So what do you do? Is it that you're going to compile your results and get it around ready before that time? So I guess Beacon has actually organized everything. They've given us the time slots. It's just positioning our time now into it according to how urgent they come in. I think that's just what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Shay, got something to say? You know, Shay. 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 It's been a while. All right. I think he's not active. Okay. Anything else, Matthew?
There is
Matthew, anything else?
yes, nothing.
Matthew, are you saying something?
No, I said I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for that beautiful presentation. You really do know everything. It's nice. Everyone is loving. Have you checked the chat? Have you checked the chat?
I just saw it. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So it's time for stand-ups. I you know, you should all attend your stand-ups. It's very important. Give your reports to your team lead. If you have any issue concerning your, tell your team lead about it. Okay. Thank you everyone for attending this morning session. Now it's time to leave. Have a good day.